People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist.
Sunny Hostin, a fiery and polarizing voice on The View, has always been known for her unapologetic opinions on race, reparations, and identity politics. She's built her reputation as a champion for racial justice, speaking with conviction and an air of moral superiority that commands attention. But recently, Sunny found herself embroiled in a scandal so dripping with irony that it feels like it was scripted for a Hollywood drama. Her latest headline-grabbing moment came during an appearance on PBS's Finding Your Roots, the show where celebrities dig into their family trees with the help of the brilliant genealogist Henry Louis Gates Jr. Fans tuned in expecting another powerful moment where Sunny's personal history would perfectly align with her outspoken views on racial justice. After all, someone as vocal as Sunny about systemic oppression must have a family history that fuels her activism, right? Wrong! What Sunny discovered on that show wasn't just surprising, it was downright shocking. Brace yourselves, because this twist sent both Sunny and the internet into a frenzy.
Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners.
As the story of her lineage unfolded, it wasn't the tale of oppressed ancestors fighting for freedom or justice that emerged. Instead, it was revealed that Sunny's forebears were not victims of injustice, but perpetrators of it. They were slave owners. Yes, you read that right. Imagine the scene. Sunny, seated across from Gates, eagerly awaiting to uncover her family's rich and meaningful past, only to have the truth hit her like a freight train. Her ancestors weren't the downtrodden or marginalized figures one might expect from someone so deeply invested in conversations about equity. They were complicit in one of the darkest chapters of history. This revelation left Sunny stunned, her world shaken, and social media ablaze with reactions ranging from disbelief to outright mockery. This bombshell has reignited heated debates about morality, activism, and the complexities of personal histories. What happens when the past doesn't match the platform? Stay tuned for all the juicy fallout. That's right. Sunny Hostin, a prominent advocate for reparations and an outspoken critic of the legacy of slavery, uncovered that her own family directly benefited from the very institution she spent years condemning. The moment the truth came out, her reaction was nothing short of unforgettable. Shock, discomfort, and a struggle to maintain composure. Her initial response, a blink, a pause, and a stammered confession. I didn't think my family was originally from Spain or slaveholders. The words came out hesitantly, as if even she couldn't believe them.
Oh, I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living. On the back.
The tension in the room was palpable. An awkward silence so thick it felt like time itself had frozen. You could almost hear viewers collectively holding their breath. Sunny, ever the professional, attempted to regain control of the moment. She muttered something about how this revelation would make an interesting tidbit for her kids. But let's face it, no clever comment could erase the undeniable irony of the situation. The damage had already been done, and the internet was just getting started. And Fox News couldn't resist this golden opportunity. Greg Gutfeld wasted no time capitalizing on the moment. delivering one of his sharpest jabs yet. With a grin and perfect comedic timing, he quipped, "Sunny Hostin's ancestors were slave owners! That's like finding out a vegan secretly owns a barbecue joint!" The studio audience erupted into laughter as Greg gleefully dissected the layers of irony. But he didn't stop there. Gutfeld zeroed in on Sunny's public persona, highlighting her history of harshly calling out others for their past misdeeds. He noted the glaring double standard. When the spotlight turned on her own family's history, the moral high ground she often occupies began to look a little shaky. "Next time Sunny plays the race card on The View," Greg teased, "someone's bound to remind her. At least we're not slave owner racists." This explosive revelation has added a new dimension to the public's perception of Sunny, sparking heated debates about accountability, hypocrisy, and the weight of history. And the backlash? It's only just begun. Greg's punchline may have been delivered with a smirk, but the moment wasn't just about laughs. It also struck a nerve. He pointed out something that many found deeply unsettling: Sunny's total lack of accountability. Instead of using the moment to reflect or even acknowledge the weight of her family's history, she brushed it off with a casual remark, calling it just a fact of life. The internet, as expected, exploded in response. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok lit up like wildfire. The reactions ranged from clever to downright savage. One viral tweet declared, "Sunny Hostin finding out her family were slave owners is the plot twist of the year." The memes were relentless, with one of the most shared posts showing Sunny's face alongside the caption, "Reparations, let me write that check to myself real quick." The humor was biting, but it didn't mask the serious undercurrent of public frustration. While some fans jumped to Sunny's defense, claiming she shouldn't be held responsible for the actions of her ancestors, others weren't so forgiving. "It's not about blaming her for what her ancestors did," one commenter wrote. "It's about the hypocrisy of shaming others while ignoring the skeletons in your own closet." The debate revealed a deeper tension between activism, accountability, and personal history, sparking endless conversations online. Greg didn't stop with Sunny, though. He took the opportunity to critique identity politics as a whole, arguing that it often oversimplifies incredibly complex issues. In his words, "A lens of empathy doesn't mean erasing context or nuance." He suggested that focusing solely on race, rather than individual actions or circumstances, can lead to situations just like Sunny's, where the narrative backfires spectacularly.
Quote, "A lens of empathy. Debate highlights ableism in politics. Pat Fetterman can do for disability what Obama did for race."
Say what?
See, because when all else fails, use identity politics. But MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell went a step further. These elites are so isolated, they've forgotten that most Americans don't get paid to sit in a comfy chair pontificating about everything all day. Nope, some of us are cameramen whose names I don't know. But maybe one day when we finally strip away this phony race war, it will finally expose this elite mentality. And we'll find out Sunny is just like Marie Antoinette, except she says, "Let me eat cake."
Rosie O'Donnell even weighed in, taking the discussion a step further. "This is what happens when you focus so much on race," she stated. "You lose sight of the individual, the context, the nuance, and eventually it backfires, just like it did for Sunny." O'Donnell emphasized the importance of personal responsibility, adding, "It's not about who your ancestors were, it's about what you do today." The fallout has left a lasting impression, reigniting fierce debates over hypocrisy, activism, and the complicated legacy of history. And for Sunny, the scrutiny isn't fading anytime soon. For years, Sunny has made a career out of holding others accountable for their family histories. But now, it seems the tables have turned, and perhaps it's time for her to take a long, hard look in the mirror. This explosive revelation raises a tough question. Should someone like Sunny, who regularly condemns others for their ancestors' actions, be held to the same standard? Or is simply acknowledging the past without letting it define you enough? Greg's panel had an absolute field day dissecting this irony. One co-host quipped, "If Sunny's been shaming descendants of slave owners, does she now have to shame herself?" Another chimed in, "It's hilarious how deep she is into identity politics, and yet turns out she didn't even know her own identity." The punches kept rolling while the internet joined in with its own jabs. But not everyone was just having fun at her expense. Some critics pointed out that this moment could have been a pivotal turning point for Sunny. Instead of brushing it off as just a fact of life, she could have used the revelation to spark a deeper conversation about the messy and uncomfortable realities of history.
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly, it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with it.
Imagine if Sunny had said, "I've learned something shocking about my family, and it's made me rethink how I approach these discussions." It could have been a powerful moment of reflection and growth. Instead, the opportunity slipped away. Sunny shrugged it off, pivoted, and moved on without much reflection. Even her co-hosts on The View seemed unsure how to handle the bombshell. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her quick wit, appeared to hold back a biting remark. Something along the lines of, "Sunny, do you need a refill on coffee, or should we ask your slave-owning ancestors to pour it for you?" The situation is more than just a personal scandal. It's a broader lesson about the pitfalls of self-righteousness and the necessity of humility. History is messy, uncomfortable, and full of contradictions that challenge our perceptions of morality and justice. No one can escape its shadow completely, and that's exactly why these discussions demand grace, understanding, and nuance. At the end of the day, Sunny's story isn't just about her. It's a cautionary tale for anyone who approaches history or identity with a sense of moral infallibility. If nothing else, this episode serves as a stark reminder. The truth is never as simple as we'd like it to be. Self-awareness and a willingness to learn. Two traits that, as Greg Gutfeld put it so perfectly, seem to be in short supply. When you spend your life looking for racism everywhere, eventually it finds you, he remarked. And for Sunny Hostin, it wasn't lurking in some far-off place. It was sitting right there in her own family tree. So, what's next for Sunny? Will she take this moment of irony and turn it into an opportunity for reflection and growth? Or will she simply carry on as if nothing ever happened? The world is watching, and only time will reveal how she handles this unexpected twist. One thing's for certain. This revelation has sparked a conversation that's far from over. Sunny's critics and fans alike are dissecting every angle of her story, and the ripple effects are bound to linger. Next time she steps onto the stage to lecture America on its historical wrongs, she might want to think twice before casting stones from her glass ancestral house. If you found this story fascinating, controversial, or just downright unbelievable, don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe so you never miss the latest Hollywood gossip, celebrity drama, and jaw-dropping twists. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace!